Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast
We're all sitting
with,
very straight.
with Kathy, Mark, and Burke with excellent posture, talking about movies
Keep the back
and
straight.
trailers. And when Game of Thrones was on television, when it was a thing, when it was
Back in the day.
actually running, it was so exciting. It was such an epic show. It was an
So good.
event. Every time a new episode came out, we would have viewing parties. We had movie nights. And all of us would gather up and watch it. And Kathy would make these special cupcakes with the flags of the different houses.
Oh,
And certain, I remember one episode where everything was red for some reason, and all these different things. The theme, it was a great show to do a theme
It
movie
really
night
was.
for, and it was just so much fun. That show had such an impact, and was you couldn't believe what you were seeing. Like, oh my God, this episode just changed everything. It was one of those shows that you're talking about at work the next day.
So
And
good.
So, and then it ended, and unfortunately, it ended on a note that some people didn't like. I think they were just sad that it was over.
Sad was over, and also I feel like the last season, it felt like they just wanted to get it done. I mean, it probably wasn't necessarily true, but I feel like that some character developments and resolutions were just bad and out of sync with the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like they did a disservice to a lot of the characters that you've been rooting for and wanting to see them. They didn't necessarily have to have a good ending, but something that made sense with the mythology they'd built. And I feel like they just threw it all away a little bit there at the end.
I wanted a different ending too, but I felt like I kind of got used to this ending.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of accepted it, and I was like, well, this is what the writers wanted. Like when The Sopranos ended, a lot of people were like, no, I reject that ending, but
Well, it was a sudden ending, but it made sense for the
Yeah.
characters. What happened? Yeah.
and with Game of Thrones, it was sort of an epic ending,
Yeah.
but it didn't feel good. It didn't make me feel good.
I
It
felt
didn't-
kind
it
of
wasn't-
queasy by the ending.
Yeah.
Like that's not good.
Interesting.
I don't.
It wasn't
Yeah.
uplifting or
Mm-mm.
epic as it could have been.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we could discuss this forever. But
Yeah, we can relitigate the Game of Thrones.
but this
they
one
have
is
some new shows coming along, though. Some new
Mhm.
Game of Thrones related in that universe. Apparently, prequel show coming.
Yep.
yeah called House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a trailer.
Stars
don't we?
Matt Smith from Doctor Who.
Cool.
He's fun, and this is a prequel. This centers on the Dany, the Daenerys, lineage of all the people with the white hair. So we're gonna see a lot of those white
Targaryens,
wigs.
was it?
Yeah. So it's gonna be the origin maybe of the dragon legacy. So we're the
Oh.
House of the Dragon. That's why it's called
Gotcha.
House of the Dragon. So we
Yeah.
will take a look.
And
Okay, you ready?
This is HBO, by the way.
Yeah, HBO, and it has nothing. And George R. Martin is not. This is not based on anything he wrote. It's not
Gotcha.
him. This is all prequel. Everything
Okay.
before Fire and Ice
Gotcha.
novels, but still kind of based on stories that were within those books that they didn't really show in the series because it's just too
Oh.
much.
Because
All
we've
right.
seen all of what he's written, right? I mean, all of what he's written
Yes.
has been already made into a show, and
Yeah.
more actually. Because we're
The
aren't
show
we
went.
still waiting for the last
Yes.
of the Game of Thrones Fire and Ice.
Yeah, the show
novels?
ended past where the books ended.
Right.
Gotcha.
So they conferred with him and they nailed it, but it could be different. And then when the books come
Yeah.
out, so we don't know.
Could be.
Okay, I
Some
hope
of the
Danny's
stuff in
story
the
ends
show was
differently.
different
I
from
did not like the Danny ending. Okay, are you ready?
Let's check it out.
Here we go.
Sound speed, last looks, clear frame, everybody, wardrobe, hair out of shot. Okay.
Gods,
Dragon. There it's still there.
kings, fire, and blood. dragons did.
Okay, that did feel very Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Sure.
I didn't see anything super new. Like, I think I was hoping to see a little something unique
A
to
new
the
looks,
show.
like a style. Yeah, I was kind of
look-
thinking, are they going to redesign some kind of aspect of it? Like,
Because it is 200 years earlier.
yeah.
So you feel there should be some sort of stylistic change since it's,
Mhm.
you know, of this, not of the same era.
Yeah, I
But it
mean,
looked
we
like
saw.
it takes place in the same era as a lot of the Game of Thrones stuff. But actually, in a way, though, maybe not. Maybe there is a stylistic difference, because they did have in this one. It seemed to me to have more of a Earth medieval look to it. The armor looked a little bit less
Did it?
decorative or something.
Interesting.
I mean, I just feel like I saw sword fighting, which we'd seen. I feel like we
Right,
saw
and the jousting.
the jousting. We saw a bunch of people we don't know who they are running around down hallways.
Right.
It just we saw new cast. We saw the people with the white hair, but honestly, I don't think that looked that different from anything we saw in Game of Thrones so far. I mean, this is a teaser trailer. They're probably still doing a lot of new stuff, but
They want to really focus on the fact that it is a Game of Thrones prequel. I mean, that's what's going to sell it. It's
Yeah.
a Game of Thrones, you know, House
Yeah,
of the
you
Dragon.
want to see more
So-
of Game of
Yeah.
Thrones? Okay, here you go.
right. So it's kind of like
more of Game of Thrones.
right. And they can bring it maybe during, you know, the actual show. You'll notice a difference. Obviously, a different cast, but you know, maybe a different feel to it too, a different style.
And
Hard
you'll
to tell.
probably see the 200-year previous version of the different places too. I mean, we're probably going to go to all those different cities and regions again. You know, we might go.
Maybe
we
they'll be
might see
smaller.
the wall and whatever else. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little bit sour on Game of Thrones because of the ending. I feel like the ending was kind of disappointing, and you know, I don't like. I mean, here we are with a prequel about Dany's, you know, forebears,
Yeah.
and they probably did the biggest injustice to her character. I mean, none of those character changes made sense at all. Like the
Right.
whole thing of her just running wild and going crazy and being power hungry. No, I mean, so
Right.
I didn't like that, and so I'm hoping that that'll kind of rectify some of it. But it's none of the people involved are involved in this. This is a whole new set of showrunners. Hopefully they'll be as good. Because I mean, they did for a lot of seasons. Those guys did a fantastic job with Game of Thrones. I mean, the stuff
Yeah.
was amazing looking. It looked like a movie. It made me interested in that genre. You know, it's that you know, sword and sorcery kind of
Right.
you know thing that I don't normally like. I mean, it made it really contemporary and cool and gritty, and you never knew who was going to get killed.
Right.
So that was really
no one
cool.
was safe. Literally,
No.
no one.
No one is safe.
Even the
You know-
lead actor, like the best actor in the whole thing.
In the first season.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was devastating.
Yeah.
Prequels are always kind of an odd thing. I mean,
Mhm.
we'll put Better Call Saul aside because that is unbelievable how they're doing that.
Oh
you
my God, so well done. Yeah.
Better than Breaking Bad. It's hard to believe, but it is.
I know, it really is.
Wow.
Prequels are a tough thing to pull off, you know, because you
Yes.
sort of know where, you know, but the 200 years
Yeah.
earlier might be a different thing because it's different characters,
Yeah.
a completely different story. But it's always a weird thing. Like it's hard to get totally psyched up for a prequel, even with
Yeah.
Better Call
Yeah.
Saul. It's like I don't know if I want to watch that. I loved Breaking Bad. I don't want to,
Yeah.
you know. So, but maybe they'll be like Better Call Saul. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll be
It
great.
might.
You know?
I mean, I didn't see anything in that made me go, wow, I can't wait to see that. Except that, you know, they're banking on that you liked Game of Thrones and you'll come back for it, which I will.
Right.
I mean, I absolutely will watch this. There's no
Oh,
way I'm
yeah.
not going to watch this. But I didn't see anything that made me go, wow, this looks so good and such an improvement or anything like that. It just looked kind of like the usual.
Or I can't wait to see that
Right.
angle of a Game of Thrones or that version of it. It just looks like, okay, they're doing Game of Thrones.
It does
Which is
seem like Game
fine.
of Thrones, which is fine.
But like Mark says, with sequels,
fine.
it just has that inherent problem of you
Yeah.
know who lives and who doesn't. You know
Yeah.
what ultimately happens to their offspring, 200 years from now. You know what Daenerys does, and so you're like all this drama is leading to what we already know happens
Right.
to that family.
Right.
and then to this young daughter. It's almost like I always say that was the big problem with the Star Wars prequels. You can't, these people aren't going to die.
Yeah.
They're not in
Right.
real peril.
Right.
Obi-Wan is going to be okay. And it just has that built-in thing of, we're just seeing what leads up to what we already know.
Right.
Maybe the trick is you want to see it come to life. Like even, I've read the books and they talk a lot about the history of, Daenerys and her, all
Right.
her ancestors and how they learned to use dragons to fight the wars, how they became one with the dragons. And so that became their symbol in their house. So you kind of like, how did that work? And also it could be, you get to see, you get to care about this group of people and they're kind of, political jostling, just like you did in Game of Thrones. That was like Game of Thrones. We're going to see more of the Game of Thrones in that era, and they won't be saddled with, we have to deal with what happened to all these other characters people already know. Now we're going to bring in a whole new set of characters nobody knows yet. So maybe that'll be okay because they don't have to worry about what happened in Game of Thrones to make it work. So
Right.
that might be something that could help, but
But
we'll see. I mean, I do like
knowing-
Matt Smith, so
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
But knowing knowing so much about the world of Game of Thrones, when you see this, if they do introduce a town, called Pottersville or something, and a family that the family that runs it, like the
Right by-
Gambisi family or something, and you're like, okay, well they didn't survive.
Right.
yeah.
So what happened? Because we didn't hear about the Gambisi family in the Game of Thrones show.
Yeah.
So
The Gambisi family.
somebody
Yeah.
must have taken them out.
Yeah. But then you like, how did that go down? What happened to these people? I want to see that.
Yeah, maybe so. But
Yeah, maybe it's good. So maybe they'll just make it their own. Like it's in the world of Game of Thrones, but
Yeah.
it's its own world, and we'll care about these people and what happens to them. You know,
Sure.
I'm sure they put some thought into it.
Yeah, I'm
There's
sure
some
it's,
thought. I hope there's some thought.
Yeah.
there'll be a high bar to get to.
Yes.
That's the hard thing. It's like
Yeah.
you're doing a prequel to a beloved show that is one of the greatest shows ever to be aired on
Yeah.
television. That's a
That
tough.
had issues with how
high
it ended
bar.
too.
Yeah,
That,
and-
the
yeah.
fan base, they sort of lost the they lost the reins on their fan
Yeah.
base near the end there. I think a lot of the fan base really,
Now there's some skepticism, like what I'm
Yeah.
hearing from you two. I
So
didn't
they
watch the
better
show.
do it.
So
Yeah,
it's,
there's a little bit of a barrier.
Yeah,
But
really
I'm
gotta bring
amazed how
it.
many people resisted watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Who could it be?
that was me.
And didn't get to enjoy
give-
it on the level of the epicness of not knowing what was
I-
going to happen and just being able to watch it as it spooled its way out.
Yeah.
And, the ending was disappointing, but the show itself was incredible.
I understand.
Oh,
Until
there's
then.
some
Disney
moments
has
in
Mark's
that
like,
show
"Boo,
that
no."
I go back and I watch, that Battle of the Bastards, that whole thing, the Red Wedding, and there
Red
was
Wedding
just
was
some moments where you
insane.
just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing here. This
Yeah.
is like the highest order of entertainment on television,
And just such high quality, just
Yeah.
production value. It's just insane.
and just the depth of the story, the
Mhm.
history, and what
And the
what you're-
humanity. You cared
Yeah.
about the characters, really great character development in the middle of all this spectacle. They actually
Yeah.
made you care about people. But anyway, we'll see. I'm anxious to see it. I'm all for another Game of Thrones. Let's
Oh,
bring
yeah.
it on, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
House of the Dragon coming when?
Mm.
Soon.
22.
22nd.
Okay. 22nd. Very good. Good.
June
Good.
Oh, so
22nd.
it's coming up soon then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
We may have to have a gathering.
We might just.
Maybe we should do a live watch.
Ooh.
What if,
Ooh,
what if it's
maybe.
not good though? What if we don't like it?
That's okay. We don't like it. Everyone's watching with us.
Yeah.
And we
All
went to
right,
the trouble
then.
making the cupcakes and everything.
I know. Maybe there won't be cupcakes this time.
Wait
We'll wait.
until-
We'll hold
wait
off on the
until a few
cupcakes to see if
episodes
it's
in.
decent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A sugar high might help. All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Take care.